What's going on, traders? Welcome to another weekly Forex forecast video for the week of September 23rd. This upcoming week, we have a lot of red folder data that is coming out, so be mindful. If you're a day trader, be mindful that this data is coming out. Maybe wait a little bit before and after before placing a trade so that we don't get stopped out due to the emotional reaction from the markets. With that being said, I am expecting price on the DXY to test this, pretty much this whole support box area again, and possibly even break below depending on how much action we see. Overall, we have a weekly downtrend, so we are expecting the dollar to continue to go down below the 99 area. So I am expecting price to continue to fall on the DXY. With that being said, let's get right into this week's Forex forecast. So starting the forecast off with the DXY daily chart here, you can clearly see the overall trend is down, indicated by this downward arrow here. However, if you zoom in, the last, since mid-September, we've pretty much been going sideways as far as, this price action goes. But it's very important to zoom out, get the bigger picture view, the momentum, the trend is down. We were talking last week about how we could actually see the dollar rally maybe up to about 102.4, 102.6 at this little drop-based drop selling area here, even higher at 104.01. But with the economic data that was released last week, it looks like it was all just pretty much a big fake out. You can clearly see the manipulation here with these two candles here. Massive doji candle followed by a 50% red candle, and to me it looks like we are going to continue down. We did break this low here, so that is a good sign. We actually will probably have some sort of downward trend line here if we draw it like that. Not my favorite looking trend line, but it would be the trend line. So the trend line is clearly holding here, so we are expecting price to go down. Like we were talking about in the intro of this video as well, we have an overall weekly downtrend. It might look like it is sideways, and overall it kind of is, but since we broke this low here, we have lower lows being formed. We do have this support box that is in control though at this point. So like I said, we are getting a reaction off of it. I am expecting this week to test that support box again, but ultimately I am expecting the dollar to rally down below 99 again, maybe in the next couple weeks, maybe in the next month, I would say is fair to say. But going back to the daily chart, just a beautiful daily downtrend. So as long as this downward trend line is holding, really guys, it's shorts all the way on the dollar. It doesn't mean, in this upcoming weekly Forex forecast, I will be talking about longs and shorts on some of the pairs, because I do like to point out both sides, because just because overall I'm expecting price to go down doesn't mean we can't catch moves to the upside like this, right? So ultimately on the dollar, we are expecting price to continue to go down. We almost contacted this 4-hour supply zone here at 101.57. Couldn't quite get there, but the trend line is even more visible here on the 4-hour chart, where we have very, very clear valleys, peaks, and lower lows being formed. So just overall, guys, bearish the dollar. But again, that's just because I'm overall bearish the dollar doesn't mean we won't see some retracements to kind of test the trend line. But ultimately, I'm expecting the DXY to continue to fall. And when we zoom out on all 4 time frames here, my 4-chart layout, things are just looking bearish all the way. So yeah, at the end of the day, bearish here on the DXY. On to the forecast for the Euro US dollar. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you are not subscribed yet, and share the video to anyone who you think this may help. So as far as the daily chart goes, beautiful daily trend line here, getting a little bit far from the trend line, so we could expect to kind of just retrace back to the mean and continue up. We did have that rally demand at 1.09. Look here like we were going to be testing that. We did create kind of lower lows here, but ultimately the last week here, just beautiful move to the upside here. So the next thing we are looking for as far as the daily chart goes pretty much is just a break of this high. We do have this supply that's in control at 112. It is tested. It's from all the way back here. It was fresh, right? A beautiful rally based drop that was created back in August. August of 2023 actually. So it's a supply from a long time ago. We did basically see a perfect reaction off of it. Wasn't really a supply zone I really wanted to trade at all, but nice reaction off of it. So next thing we are looking for, if we do break this supply in the high, any daily demand zone there, we could definitely get a trade off of that daily zone like that. But ultimately, since the trend is up in the daily chart, it's longs all the way on day trading time frames. Beautiful 1-hour trend as well. Not the best trend I've ever seen, but it is a trend. So it's longs all the way. If we do, on the 4-hour chart, if we do get a pullback all the way down to this demand at 1.102. I like it for potential longs. It's a nice drop base rally that removed a demand zone or a supply zone here. We had a demand zone here that actually ended up stopping us out, but that's the thing. We lose. We don't always win. So a pullback down to that 4-hour demand, looking pretty good. It's longs all the way on a 5-minute time frame, and even on the 4-hour chart, if we start to break some supply zones here, then we could be looking for longs off of zones that are formed along the way up. But really nothing else to say. Not a whole lot of zones for me to point out in the euro here, but it's definitely longs all the way, especially on the day trading time frames with that daily, weekly, and H1 trend. All right, on to the forecast for gold. Top-down approach here. Beautiful weekly trend. Nothing but upward momentum here on gold. Like I've been saying for so long, guys, it is longs all the way on gold. We are forming a new daily demand zone here. We do have to get a candle close up here for me to draw this demand zone, but there will be a new daily demand zone up here, and it will be better than this zone because look how much trading is in this area here. Tons of trading here. I don't mind a pullback down to that daily zone, but once this daily zone here is formed, it's going to be a little bit better, and it's going to be a great dip buying opportunity as far as a daily chart goes. But let's go down to the lower time frames because I know you guys really aren't focused on the daily chart. I just feel the need to point out beautiful trends to the upside here. As far as gold goes now, there's a lot of options that I'm seeing on the chart for trading at this time. We do have kind of a 4-hour zone here. It's not great, but what I'm more focused on is this beautiful 4-hour upward trend line. Beautiful peak, valley, higher high, just great looking upward trend line. So if you're a day trader, as long as this 4-hour trend line is holding, 15-minute time frame longs are going to be good, as well as 5-minute time frame longs as well. So be watching this trend line. Draw it on your chart. It's a properly drawn trend line that we discuss in the video lessons, but it's a great looking trend line as long as it's holding. Day trading longs all the way. If we do get a pullback all the way down to this 4-hour rally-based rally demand zone at 25.27, I think it's a great area for a potential dip buy opportunity. It is actually inside of that overall daily demand as well. So it's just a fantastic pullback entry. But in the meantime, if you want to get more aggressive with longs, I've identified 2 1-hour zones that you can see in my chart. One at 25.97 and one at 25.66. These are great pullback entry, long entries on the 1-hour chart to continue to trade with the 1-hour trend. Even down there, I actually like that one a lot. So couple good 1-hour zones, and as always, if you don't feel comfortable just with a entry, stop, and take profit above, you could always be on a 5-minute time frame looking for day trading confirmation trades inside of those time frames. And these are zones that I will be looking for these day trades in the daily market breakdown videos. If you want to trade alongside myself and the community, join the Diamond membership for exclusive access to our daily market breakdown videos and catch trades like these. Plus, dive deep with our full-length forecast covering 26 plus markets, our interactive Sunday Zoom sessions, and personal homework to sharpen your strategy. And you'll also join our private Discord group for direct access to me and unlock a complete library of A to Z video lessons to master supply and demand trading. Don't miss out. Let's level up your trading. Links in the description down below. So yeah, I don't mind looking for pullback entries down in here, especially using confirmation trades. It'll be pretty good. So it's longs all the way here on gold. Couple good little 1-hour zones. And like I said, guys, if we start to break these 1-hour zones and the 4-hour zones, that's fine. Like I said, we have a lot of backstop here as far as the daily chart goes. We're beautiful daily zone down to 25.29 and 24.70 down below. So, even if we do get a massive retracement on gold, guys, there's tons of demand down below in the higher time frames that is going to act as kind of support, as a backstop to continue to trade with the overall trend. So if we do start to rally down, don't be scared, right? It will be like this pullback we could get. Yes, you could be day trading inside of this pullback, but remember, the overall trends are up, so we do prefer long. It doesn't mean we can't hop on short. It's just, be very cautious. If you are going to short, it's pretty much got to be on day trading time frames only because the higher time frame trends are up. But again, if we do start to rally, don't get freaked out. The longs are still going to be preferred because we have tons of demand, especially on the higher time frames. All right, on to the forecast for the USDJPY. So this past week, we did see a little bit of a strength here in the USDJPY. Why do we see strength? Well, it's because of this daily demand zone from back here. Now, this demand zone was tested once before, but just barely. So when a zone is just barely tested like that, we could expect I've always told the members we could expect a deeper test and a rally out. I do think this rally will be short-lived based on the fact that it is an overall downtrend. Supply zones are being respected, demand zones are being removed. So I do think that this rally will be short-lived and we will probably start to turn around again soon. So how do we go about trading this USDJPY? Well, first, just want to point out this beautiful demand zone counter trend setup. It was counter trend, but it removed a downward trend line here on the 1 hour chart. This is how you guys trade counter trend using supply and demand. Just a little bit of a lesson here. Beautiful downward trend. It was removed by this demand zone here, and we got a beautiful pullback over 5 to 1 easily hit here. So not surprised to see that move off of that zone. Now we have a 1 hour trend. If you want to continue to trade counter trend, all you can really do now is day trade as long as this 1 hour trend line is holding. 5-minute time frame longs are good, but I want to show you what I think we could see happen here on the USDJPY, just to keep it in mind. So we have an overall trend on the downside. I'm actually going to re-add that downward arrow here. You can see this beautiful drop-based drop, supply zone at 144.75. I personally think this is where we're going to turn around. It is a little bit tricky because we do have a downward trend line that could come in contact, and a lot of times with trend lines, we will see kind of a liquidity spike above it or below, depending on if it's an upward trend line or a downward trend line. So I do think we will respect this supply zone, probably break above the trend line and then rally down. So a lot of the trend line traders are probably going to try to short with their stop losses right into our supply zone, where we can then look to short. So honestly, I think it's a great 4 hour supply zone that we could see move off of. This is the move that I am expecting to see on the USDJPY. So again, if you want to take it with caution, you could just look for day trading confirmation on a lower time frame in there. That would be fine, and you could use it on a 15-minute chart or a 5-minute time frame. Both are fine. But at the end of the day, it's a beautiful, let me just zoom in and show you guys the zone. It is a beautiful drop-based drop, pretty much picture perfect, nice tight basing, beautiful move away initially, and just a massive move away overall. And we are expecting a move off of that zone. And profit margin really, since it's a daily trend, profit margin is really to the low here. So if you just take a risk to reward tool, right, it is well worth the risk, in my opinion. Give it a nice, really good room for a stop loss. All the way to the low, you're looking at over 5 to 1. So just to be a little bit more cautious, you could really take profit at 3 to 1 and let your 25% of the trade run. And it's the overall momentum on the higher time frames is down, right? Daily momentum, daily trend is down. Weekly momentum is certainly down. We just recently broke an upward trend, so on the weekly chart. So we just really could see this thing continue to go down. And look, if we break the 4 hour supply zone, that's fine. There'll probably be new trading setups, but that we can see. But in the meantime, guys, it is shorts all the way. Like I said earlier, yes, you could be looking for 5-minute time frame longs with this overall 1 hour trend. That's fine, but profit margins getting tight as we approach the 144.75 area. And if you do that, I would be looking to lock in profit as we approach this 4 hour supply, because based on my experience, guys, we'll probably be reacting off of that supply zone to the downside here on the USDJPY. Alrighty, on to the forecast for the GBPUSD. Last week we were talking about how it was looking like we could pull back down to that weekly zone at 1.28. Beautiful drop-based rally, weekly demand zone. Unfortunately, a massive move to the upside. That's fine. I don't get mad when price doesn't pull back to a zone, and neither should you. Trading's all about psychology, guys. So we don't want to get frustrated when we don't get the pullback that we want, and that's okay. So beautiful rally up. Even if we do start to rally back down, I'm not worried. We have a beautiful backstop weekly zone that we can see move off of. I just feel the need to point out that weekly zone. It is beautiful, picture perfect. As far as the daily chart goes, beautiful continuation of the trend here. We actually have a new updated daily trend line that I'm going to draw for you guys right now. So make sure you have this one on your charts. Beautiful daily trend line. If this trend line breaks, that could be the sign we are going to get a bigger pullback down to that weekly zone. So that's going to be something we need to watch out for. But just overall, beautiful daily trend. We are about to approach this daily supply. It is fresh. I think it's a great zone on its own, right? If you really zoom in over here, let's take a look. As far as the zone goes, it's great. It's a drop-based drop supply zone. Amazing. This is as good of a move away as we are going to get here. The issue with this zone is that it was created so long ago and things have changed, right, on the higher time frame. So now that we approach it for the first time, we are actually already seeing some sort of move off of it. I wouldn't be surprised to see a deeper pullback. Ultimately, I am expecting it to move, or sorry, to be removed. And if we create any daily zone that removes that supply zone, we could definitely be looking for longs off of that daily zone, guys. So it's definitely a good little daily supply that we could see a move off of. And when it is removed, I am expecting a daily zone to be formed that we could look for longs off of. So why do we not want to short at this daily supply? Because it is counter trend. Could you trade off of it? Sure, but where are you going to be taking profit, right? The trend is up. Again, just kind of waiting for that daily zone to be removed to create a new daily demand zone. As far as trading the pound goes now, what can we be doing? Well, we already got a beautiful demand zone here, trade off of that. Picture perfect, but as we pulled off of the zone, we created another 1 hour zone that removes supply above. And why I like this zone is because the supply was proven as we react off of it before it was removed. So if we do get a pullback down to the 1.324 area, I think it's a great little drop base rally demand zone that we could see a move off of. So that is what we could expect to see. I'm not guaranteeing that price will pull back, but if we do, don't just immediately think, oh, the pound's so bearish. A lot of the 1 minute and the 5 minute time frame traders, if we do get that move, are going to be thinking, wow, look at this move down, we got to be shorting. But they're going to be shorting right into our drop base rally demand zone that we could see a move off of. And why are we expecting this zone to hold? Because the trends are up. The trends are not only up on the 1 hour chart, but the trend is up on the weekly and the daily as well on the higher time frames. So any pullback to the downside could be viewed as a pullback entry to the long side. And again, you could just be looking for day trading confirmation in here as well. But since the higher time frame trends are up, I think it works beautifully as a set and forget trade as well. All right, on to the USDCAD, the country that I am from. Let me know what country you guys are from. A lot of you guys have been commenting, and there's even some countries I've never even heard of. So let me know what country you guys are from. As far as the daily chart goes, we did remove that daily supply, and honestly, I'm a little surprised. It was barely removed, but we did wick above it. There is daily demand zone down below, so that is our nearest profit target at 1.352. Even if we do see some strength, we have another daily supply at 1.37 we can easily see a move off of, but we are kind of floating near the daily demand zone. I'm going to go down to the lower time frames to really see what is going on. As far as the 1 hour chart, beautiful move off this base drop, 1 hour supply zone here. Almost got a second test, but just not a lot to go off of here on the 1 hour chart. If price was down here before we hit the supply, I would have said this is a good little supply zone short. So unfortunately, we missed that one, but it's no big deal. As far as the 4 hour chart, I'm really liking what I'm seeing. We have a supply above at 1.361. We have demand down below at 1.35. We are sitting right in the middle at this point. So it's pretty much a time for not trading the USDCAD at this point. I will be clear. Since the daily momentum is down and I am bearish on the dollar, I do prefer shorts, which means I do prefer this 4 hour supply zone up here at 1.36. The issue is it's kind of a peak pivot supply zone. It's not amazing. I don't mind the move away though. It is pretty good. It did remove a very proven area of demand. And what do I mean by that? Well, if you look here, we had this demand zone. I pointed this one out last week as well, and it was proven. Like so many reactions off this daily demand off this 4 hour zone, and it was removed by this supply. So the fact that this proven demand was removed makes me more confident in this supply zone. So you could be looking for shorts off of this 4 hour supply. I think that is fine, and day trading shorts inside of that for confirmation. You can basically tighten up your risk. So just to show you what I mean by that, if you take a trade off of this supply zone down to the nearest demand zone, it's almost a 3-to-1, not bad. But if you were to get a 15-minute supply zone short, kind of tighten up your entry, that you could turn into a 10-to-1, be a little bit more conservative, maybe like an 8-to-1 or something. So that's why looking for day trading confirmation inside of these higher time frame zones to kind of maximize your risk reward is always good. If you don't know what I mean by confirmation trading, I have a great tips playlist on my YouTube channel you guys can watch. I also have the video lessons from the Diamond membership as well if you want to get more in depth. But yeah, I think it's a great little 4 hour supply zone too short. The bigger risk reward trade is off of this 4 hour supply based on the higher time frame trends. So why I'm going to point out this 4 hour demand zone down here is because we could see a small move off this zone, but ultimately I am expecting price to break that zone. So yes, there is a small move we could see off of this. There is a little bit of profit margin in that zone that we could see. That's why I point out this 4 hour supply above, is because the profit margin is higher on the zone. I think we could see a bigger move based on the higher time frame trends. Doesn't mean we won't see a small move off that 4 hour zone. So a couple good little 4 hour zones here we could see a move off of. But if you are looking for that overall bigger move, the supply is going to be your the better trade as far as trading with that trend, but it doesn't mean we won't see a small move off that 4 hour zone and eventually break it. And if there's a 4 hour supply zone here, then we can add on to our trade. You could, even if you have an account where you can hedge, then you could trade short up here, maybe get a nice move off of it, maybe even get in a long trade here, a little one-to-one trade. Ultimately, I think we will break it, maybe create a 4 hour supply zone trade that we can add on to our shorts. All right, on to the forecast for the AUDUSD, the Aussie US dollar. So if you go back and watch some of the previous weekly Forex forecast videos, we were talking about this daily area demand, how profit margin was to that demand zone, how we are probably going to see a reaction off of it. So just a beautiful prediction off of that demand zone here. We did recently break the high, so that's also a very bullish sign, because now we have a beautiful daily trend to the upside. So it's really nothing to say other than looking for longs on the Aussie. We do have a couple options here. Pretty much going to stick to the 4 hour time frame, and the 4 hour supply zone is in control from all the way back here. It's a really old 4 hour supply zone, but you can see it's a very proven area of supply as we have reacted off of it several times now. So a couple options here. Let's say we just retrace back down now and we don't break this 4 hour supply zone. That's okay. We have a rally-based rally 4 hour demand zone that was responsible for breaking not only a downward trend line, but also a supply zone. So again, a pullback down to this 4 hour zone is going to be a great pullback entry at 0.668. That is one option. The second option, let's say we just maybe we pull back just a little bit, we break this 4 hour supply zone. Any 4 hour zone there is going to be a beautiful trade off of that 4 hour zone there, and that'll be a zone I'll have on my chart for the daily chart analysis for all the members. So that is option number 2. Let's say we just retrace down to here, break the high here, we'll have the ability to draw an upward trend line in the 4 hour chart. Then day trading longs become an option as well. So that's really what we're looking for here on the Aussie. Basically waiting for a pullback down to that 4 hour zone, or waiting for a new 4 hour zone to be formed that breaks the supply zone. Hopefully all of that makes sense. Remember guys, any questions at all, do not hesitate to ask. And what a confirmation trade off that daily zone. We had the daily zone in control, and we had a beautiful picture perfect 1 hour demand zone confirmation trade. Broke a trend line, beautiful move off of that. 5-to-1 hit pretty easily. So yeah, it's really longs all the way. On the 1 hour chart, we are kind of going sideways now right here, and that's okay. We are expecting sideways price action as we break the previous high. Price is typically going to pull back. So basically just waiting for some supply zones to be taken out on the 1 hour chart, and any zones formed here on the 1 hour time frame is going to be good as well. So it's really longs all the way here on the AUD USD. Just need to be a little bit patient, wait for some of the supply zones to be taken out, or wait for a 4 hour zone to be formed, or wait for some upward trend lines. Because right now on the 4 hour and the 1 hour chart, we actually don't have trends. Yes, we do have the overall daily trend. Once the 4 hour and the 1 hour trends start to go up, then day trading longs is going to be an option as well as buying 4 hour and 1 hour zones as they are formed along the way up. So in my opinion, this daily upward trend that we just had formed, in my opinion, it's going to be a sign of a bigger trend that we're going to see. So we definitely want to be continuing to look for longs here on the AUD USD. On to the forecast for the USDCHF. On the daily chart, the daily trend is down, indicated by this daily downward arrow here. Yes, this price action is sideways, but again, when we zoom out, look at the bigger picture. It's clearly down. Don't get fooled by sideways price action like that. It's difficult to trade in, but ultimately we want to be favoring shorts based off of that daily downward trend. On the 1 hour chart, it's very clear what we are seeing. I pointed out this 1 hour supply zone from a while ago. Beautiful move off that, and we actually got a move off the daily zone as well. We are basically just ping-ponging between supply and demand, failing to break either or. So I'll be clear. If we break this supply zone and break the high, okay, then we could look for longs temporarily. Overall, the daily trend is down and we are bearish in the dollar, so any longs need to be taken with a grain of salt and potentially look to lock in profits earlier. What I would love to see is a break of this proven 1 hour demand zone, and any 1 hour supply zone there we could definitely look for shorts off of. That is the best thing we could do. Or let's say we break this supply zone here, we will have a 1 hour zone, and if we break that 1 hour zone there, any 1 hour supply zone here is going to be even better, because it's not only a better price for shorts, but also the trend is down. So we do prefer to trade short, guys. But again, like I said, if we do break, the highs up here in the supply, we'll have a 1 hour trend to the upside. And then, 5 minute time frame, longs are going to be good, because it is possible, like if we do break this trend, it's possible we do see more upper momentum. It's even possible on the daily chart that we get a pullback, or sorry, on the weekly chart, that we even get a pullback all the way up to 0.883. I'm not saying we're going to get that, but a move like this is possible, guys. So it's definitely something to keep an eye out and keep in mind if we do start to trend up again, even on the 4-hour time frame. We are breaking this 4-hour downward trend line that we've had for a while. We broke this one, which signaled strength, and now we broke this previous one as well. So if we really start to rally up, and let's say we break this 4-hour high here, that's going to be a pretty bullish sign, and then we could expect to see an even bigger pullback to the upside. But ultimately, again, with the daily trend being down and the momentum being down, we do prefer shorts. We just need to be focused on this 1-hour time frame and see what happens around this 1-hour supply and the 1-hour demand zone. All right, on to the forecast for crude oil. Last week I talked about this weekly zone, how I wasn't really super worried about it, but at the end of the day, we are rallying off that weekly zone and we are pushing up to the upside. But look at the overall momentum and trend. It is clearly down on the weekly chart. What I think we are seeing is simply a pullback up to this daily supply where we will rally down to the downside. I could be wrong. If we break this daily supply in the upper trend line and we create a daily zone, then we could look for longs. But in the meantime, we pretty much have to go with the daily downward trend, the weekly downward trend, this drop-based drop daily supply. So if you are trading long right now, that's okay. On day trading timeframes, profits should be taken around 73.31, or at least tighten up your stop loss. Maybe take half your profits off, because I do think we will react off of this daily supply to the downside because it is with the trend. So as far as the lower time frames go, let's see what we are looking at. As far as all I'm really seeing, guys, here is a 1-hour upward trend line. So we kind of have to be patient right now, and patience is all about trading psychology. If you want to learn more about trading psychology, check out my free trading podcast. It is available wherever you get your podcasts at, called the Stoic Trading Psychology Podcast. So check it out. We'll be happy to hear your reviews and feedback on the podcast if you want to learn more about trading psychology. So we have to be a little bit patient right now because, yeah, okay, the 1-hour trend line is holding. So like I said, 5-minute time frame longs are good, but profit margin's tight because the daily supply is up here and we're probably going to react off of it. So we need to be careful. So pretty much all of your trading is involved around this 1-hour upward trend at this point. We are going to have some supply zones up here that are in control. And we're going to probably see reactions off of them because they're inside of the daily supply. So these two supply zones up here could be used as set and forget trades at 73.00 and even above at 74.11. A couple good 1-hour supply zones we could see moves off of. And let's say, I don't know exactly where the daily supply is. Let me just go take a look. It is at 73.31. So let's take a look here on the 1-hour chart, 73.31. So basically right around here. Once we hit this daily supply, if we break this upward trend line, any 1-hour supply zone there, that would be our confirmation model like that. So again, our confirmation model short would be the daily supply is hit. We break this upward trend line. Any 1-hour supply zone there would be our 1-hour time frame confirmation as we come off the daily supply. And profit margin, guys, is huge. Because the daily trend is down, we could expect to see a move all the way down to the low down here. So just look at this trade, right? Boom. Look at the profit margin. It's incredible. Almost a 10-to-1 trade. So that is the profit margin. I'm looking forward to potentially getting a short trade as we push off the daily supply. Reminder, again, look at the higher time frames. Don't get caught up with this upward momentum. Yes, the momentum is up, but look at where the momentum is trending up into. Not only is it a daily downward trend, it's a beautiful daily supply zone that I personally think we will see a move off of here on crude oil. And if you guys want to watch the full-length forecast with all the other markets, make sure to subscribe to the channel membership to get access.